Welcome to AI and Automation in Action, where we show business leaders how to turn AI from a buzzword into measurable operational leverage. If you're serious about operational efficiency and responsible AI adoption, you're in the right place.
Well, hey guys, and welcome back to AI and Automation in Action, where we bring to view real-world use cases of AI and automation in hopes that we spark some thoughts and ideas in your day-to-day operations. Hunter, we've got one today that we're going to review that is not, a highly complex automation, but yet there is a big need for it. This came from one of our MSP's client needs. And if you don't mind, give us an overview of what we were up against and how we solved that.
So this customer and the issue that they're facing is they're actually a co-managed customer. So they have their own board of tickets that they work from, and then we have tickets that they would farm out to us that we would work through. The issue they were facing was that they would get no visibility when a ticket was closed up on the response. So if a user was leaving a positive CSAT, a negative CSAT, whatever that looked like, the point of contact at that company was not getting a report on any of that. The issue was there's two different boards that the teams were working from. So we were able to create an automation. It's pulling the tickets from both of those boards that have had a CSAT response. And a CSAT is just a post-ticket summary. So whenever a ticket is closed up, it will automatically send a notification out asking how our team or how the DASI team did in terms of resolution. And that is the CSAT that we are pulling for this automation. And it's pulling in the question, and then it's at the bottom of that throwing in the user's response. And then off to the right, it is showing a 5 out of 5, 3 out of 5, whatever that result looks like that the user actually left. And then it's a report, just a ongoing report. So it's going to show the old results, but whenever new one comes in, they're going to get the new ones as well. That's what they wanted. But if we need to scope that to be just a weekly report, whatever that needs to look like, we can certainly make that happen as well. But ultimately, this is something that fires each week, and it is now giving them visibility into when a ticket is closed up, who is providing responses and how those tickets went in terms of resolution. So.
Excellent. So I want to clarify a couple of items in there so that are not in the MSP or technology provider space may not be familiar with. So when we talk about tickets, most of the time that is a request for help when it comes to a technical issue. So their end users or their employees would request technical support, which goes into a ticket. And the CSAT issue that you're referencing is after we or their internal staff have solved that issue or that request, then there is a survey that says, how well did we do on a scale of 1 to 5? And so if I understand correctly, the issue was their leadership team needed to have specific visibility into those metrics and into how well the technology issues were being solved. And in the current implementation, our MSP had the ability to report on that using some of the tools that we have, but that was for all of our clients. And we couldn't partition off just their responses and their results. And that's really what they were wanting to look at is how well was DASI responding to their needs as well as their internal IT team, if I understand correctly.
That is exactly correct. And ultimately wanting to also get visibility into, in terms of those responses, who was interacting with their team more? Was it the DASI team? Was it their internal team? And so that's exactly what we were able to provide them with each week.
So it's interesting because we have data there that we're collecting. We've got a process that's working, but the limitation was being able to segment and report individually, which we find a lot of organizations run into, that their existing tool has some functionality there, but the report doesn't generate it in the format that they need, or it doesn't have the filters that give them specifics in terms of tangible data that they can make decisions on. And so that was kind of the basic challenge that we were up against. So tell me how you solved that.
Yep. So we were able to leverage one of our internal automation tools that we're partners with. We created a workflow in there, leveraging the SimpleSAT API directly. From there, we actually ended up creating the SimpleSAT integration as well in our automation platform. But once that was in place, we were then able to use the SimpleSAT API to query the company, in this case, to return those results.
So in that scenario, we've talked about this before, where years ago it was the decisions around software were based on, does it integrate with this software? Does it work with what we have today? And so what you were able to do is say, okay, this application has an API or an open access point that we can get to that data. And even though this application itself doesn't have the functionality pre-built, we'll get access to the data and then build our own reporting mechanism around that.
Correct. Yep. Since it supported that, we were able to create a key, an API key, tie that in with our automation platform, get all of that data, and then manipulate that data how the customer wanted it to reflect. And then from there, we were able to make a nice, pretty HTML formatted email. And that's what they're only seeing each week, is that nice, pretty report moving forward. So
I think it's one of those scenarios that we run into all the time, where organizations are limited by what's there. They're collecting great data, but getting the data in a format or in a schedule or in a drill down that they don't already have is a challenge. And so by leveraging automation technology, accessing that data through the API, we can basically deliver whatever's needed on demand.
absolutely. Or to that point, even connect it to other applications you may have in your business to this day that also support API access. So they're talking seamlessly to one another.
It's an important part that you brought up there, because I often get the question from people that are considering automation or AI initiatives. And the question is, what is the low-hanging fruit that we can tackle first that gives us the biggest return on investment or return on time? And it's almost always, can we connect your data sources that aren't connected today?
Yep. And look at leveraging AI and automation opportunities that are already available in those applications you're leveraging. And if you find that there's limitations there or constraints, that's exactly where we would love to help you out with creating that automation following what you are looking for.
Perfect. It's a great example of leveraging both approaches, automation and AI, and it always comes back to the data. If we can get access to the data, we can build some pretty amazing and beneficial outputs. It's getting to that data and being able to leverage it. So Hunter, thanks for this example. Excellent. Even though, again, it's not a highly complex or earth-shattering type of automation, it filled a gap that was needed, and there was a constraint we solved fairly easily and quickly through an automation approach.
Yep, absolutely. And with no team overhead.
Absolutely. Hunter, thanks for walking us through this one. I look forward to hearing your next automation that you're building.
Thank you, Shane. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to AI and Automation in Action. If today's conversation sparked ideas about how AI or automation could improve your operations, we'd love to continue that discussion with you. Join us next time as we showcase another real-world implementation and break down how to deploy AI responsibly and effectively. And if you want to brainstorm with our team, email us anytime at ideas@innovativeautomations.ai. Until next time.